Well, hello, people of Defend Their House, and welcome back to another one of mine and Jameson's long talky reviews. We are covering the month of November. This time we are going through Call of Duty World War II, Star Wars Battlefront 2, and Horizon The Frozen Wilds, the DLC for Horizon Zero Dawn. We usually do them in chronological order, which would go Call of Duty, Horizon, Battlefront. But the format's going to change. We're going to do Call of Duty and Battlefront 2 back to back.
We have to save something good for the end.
Yes, we have to save this fucking video. There's some similarities in reception and feelings towards Call of Duty and Battlefront 2. Just to be blunt, we just want to get the negative stuff out the way and then just finish it on a high note.
What he's saying is they both suck.
They both really suck. So let's start with Call of Duty World War II. Thank you for the copy, by the way, Activision. Sponsored by Activision.
Not sponsored.
Thank you for
copy provided
this shite game that you gave us for free. I really hope they don't listen to it. We like Destiny 2, Activision. We like this. Please keep giving us the codes.
Sort of.
We do. I like it, mostly.
Yeah, I do.
So, Call of Duty World War II. Let's start with the campaign. I feel like me and you are like the last few remaining people who actually liked the campaigns for Call of Duty. I think we've played them all. Mm-hmm. I think the only one I didn't bother with was Black Ops 3 because it was getting really bad reviews. You said it was terrible, and I think I just kind of wasn't in the mood for a mindless FPS shooter, because otherwise I would have at least tried it and pushed through with it, but I just skipped it. But apart from that, I can't really think of any Call of Duty campaign where I've just hated it.
Yeah, I like put like 2 hours into Black Ops campaign, Black Ops 3's, and then just gave up on it because I was just miserable. And also, I don't think I was quite in the mood for it, which is a big factor. But yeah, I would say pretty, like, the Black Ops 1 and 2 campaigns didn't blow my mind or anything. I didn't like them a whole lot, but I didn't hate them. But I would say the Call of Duty campaigns have a pretty good track record. They're
What was the last game
consistent.
called?
Infinite Warfare.
I loved Infinite Warfare. It was
a very good campaign.
It was, I don't know. Okay, I'm going to say it's my second favorite. Call of Duty 4 has to stay at the top. The OG, the classic, it has to stay up there. But I absolutely adored Infinite Warfare. I think it did really fun things with space in ways that I hadn't seen before. And after, I know it's different studios. That was
Infinity Ward made Infinite Warfare.
And this was Sledgehammer this year, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I know it's different companies, but I was kind of on a high after Infinite Warfare. I was like, yeah, Call of Duty campaigns are good. I would take another quick 5 hours and enjoy it.
Yeah, and Sledgehammer made Advanced Warfare, which was their first Call of Duty title that they made all by themselves.
Is that the Kevin Spacey one?
Yeah, and I friggin' really like Advanced Warfare a lot.
Yeah, it was fun.
One of the best campaigns out there for the Call of Duty series, and that game as a whole was good fun. You know, the campaign didn't really. A lot of the campaigns have like a gimmick, whereas like Black Ops 2 had player choice, and this game, last game had space. Advanced Warfare, not really any sort of gimmick. It was just another Call of Duty campaign, but it did it all really well. There were some good set pieces, and despite Kevin Spacey being the king of the milkshake ducks, it was still Kevin Spacey chewing up the scenery, and that was fun. So,
what do you think about that? It's more relevant now, the game, that Kevin Spacey's the villain in it,
Yeah, maybe it's even better now than ever.
Yeah.
I mean, he falls into a burning fire at the end of that game. So.
Wow, I should replay that. Is this Sledgehammer's second Call of Duty, or is it the third?
Yes, it's the second, because Call of Duty's on a 3-year cycle now, so.
Okay.
I wouldn't say that I went into this campaign with much in the way of expectations, because I think World War II in general, I wasn't interested in particularly, but I went into it sort of expecting what Advanced Warfare was, which was a very well made and predictable Call of Duty-esque campaign, but it was super fun and enjoyable, and This isn't any of those things.
No, it's just not good in any way whatsoever. I think the weird thing about the campaign is it starts out doing D-Day again, which was right off the bat just strange to tread something that they'd already done, Call of Duty.
That game starts out with like a 1-to-1 recreation of Saving Private Ryan's opening scene.
Yeah, which you do in Call of Duty 2, which is really strange for a franchise to essentially do the same level again.
Yeah.
Like I know,
I was like shocked at how it's like exactly beat for beat Saving Private Ryan. Like
it tries.
You even like bail over the side of the ship and go underwater and have to create a trench on the beach with explosives and snipe guys. It was just like, I was just playing. I was like, oh wow, they really are just making Saving Private Ryan opening scene again.
Yeah. I remember in the first level, I don't think we're very emotionally attached to these campaigns, so I didn't have any intense emotions at the beginning. I wasn't expecting much. No. But the first warning sign for me, where I was like, oh, I don't know about this, was when it introduces the new mechanic where if you want to heal, you have to find your buddy amongst the battle, and then you have to press... We played on PC, so you have to press N?
Some sort of button. I don't know. I rebound it, but yeah. Something like that.
And then he chucks you a med kit. And then I had to press, without the rebinding, 6 to heal. And that's the only way you can heal in the campaign. There is no jellification, which was a great scheme, or whatever you want to call it, a great design that Call of Duty created so that you could run around like a maniac, just hide behind a cover, then get back into battle. I'm pretty sure it started in the Call of Duty franchise, and I think a lot of first-person shooters went on to copy it because it's great for momentum. The jellified screen, which heals over time, is good. It works. And I guess they thought people wanted to go back to basics, or they looked at Battlefield and were like, they're going backwards and people are happy about that, so we'll go backwards. I don't know. To be honest,
I feel like the healing system exists for no other reason than you should care about your squad members, and the squad members only exist because it's a World War II game and they have nothing else to work with.
Yeah, but the problem is, as the game goes on, you can use the squad members to do other things. One guy scouts out enemies, which is actually pretty useful. It highlights them, which doesn't make any sense, but whatever, it's a video game. Another guy gives you like an airstrike. One guy gives you ammo, which I think is fine, getting ammo. But the health system is like a fundamental part of how Call of Duty plays. The jellification, which is what I've just titled it now, it was designed for momentum and speed and action. And there's nothing fun about being in a situation and having to just crawl on your belly and scout someone out in the middle of a battle and then press a few different keys, then get back into it. It's just, I don't understand what they were thinking.
Yeah, I was thinking like the downtime for healing with the new system is probably not, it's a bit longer, but it's not like that substantially longer than you just sitting there waiting for your health to regen. But you have to press, if you have a health kit, you just have to like press one button and you do it. But it's like, it's still just another, instead of just crouching behind cover and regenning in 10 seconds, you crouch behind cover, hit a button, do an animation, and then keep fighting. Or you hit a button, dude throws you a thing from across the map, then you heal. It was just, every time I needed to heal, I was just like, I just felt like I was falling asleep. I'd just hit the button and be like, oh, get on with it already. And then,
it's just bad.
Can get back to the action.
And obviously it's not in the multiplayer or in zombies.
No.
So it's just this mechanic that they brought into the campaign.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why they did it.
To make you care about the squad mates.
But just give them something else. They did ammo. They did airstrikes.
But Joe, your health makes you able to play the game.
It just made me annoyed.
Zussman will be your best friend because he makes you survive.
Why didn't he just give me like 5? Why give me one at a time? If he gave me 5, it would be really useful.
I don't know.
That's one tweet that actually would have fixed
from?
it. What if I don't know? What if he just chucked you like a crate of them and you got 5? I'd be like, thank you, Zussman. Now I have 5 and I don't have to look.
Now I can play for like 10 minutes without being interrupted. Yeah.
Just one little change, fixed. It sucked, and it breaks the momentum of the campaign. And sometimes there's situations where you're on low health, and I'm just like, I'm fucked. There's nothing I can do because there's some missions where you're not with him.
Yes. Yeah. There were a couple where I had to like scout because they lay them on the battlefield as well. There's just like they sort of are lying around on the in the levels sometimes. And there were a couple of instances where I had none, and I was just like running around trying to find one health kit so I could heal up, and it was just like, please just let this be over with already.
Yeah.
Just,
but that's the beginning of this tale. Let's keep going. Oh,
okay.
God, where do we go from here?
The squad sucks.
Yeah.
You're supposed to care about your friends in World War II, and okay, I let me back up for a second. This is the first game I played after Wolfenstein 2. So the whiplash, I think, is probably pretty similar for you as well. The whiplash from that game to this game is pretty extreme.
Oh,
and,
you know what the worst thing was? In Wolfenstein, I thought the campaign and the story was like the pinnacle of what we see. And then it flipped on its back for Call of Duty and was like the worst I played in years. And then the part of Wolfenstein I didn't like, which was the health regen, came back in Call of Duty World War II.
But it was worse because you had to do a long animation.
It was worse. I just couldn't escape it.
I don't mind the health system. I don't mind like that as in like a theoretical, I don't mind having to go and get health packs, but
I hate it.
It just doesn't work for Call of Duty. It's just a weird extra bit of tedium. Yeah. And should we talk? Okay. I don't even know. Should we talk about story or gameplay? Like there are so many weird bad gameplay things in this campaign. Like
there's
the stealth
so many
sections.
The thing about this game is there's lots of what's that term you use a lot, which I like death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, sure.
That's what World War II feels like. There's not like one.
That was World War II for real. Death by 1,000 cuts.
There isn't one like overarching problem. Well,
no.
Just everything is kind of bad, and there's lots of weird
moments.
moments.
Both of these games sort of have that problem, where it's like.
Because I have right now in front of me, I have notes for this talk, and I have like lots of bullet points of things that I didn't like,
too.
And I have no idea how to meld them into.
Fuck it, let's just go down the bullet points. The stealth sections are terrible.
Yeah, why for stealth? It's awful. I don't understand.
There's like 6 segments where there's stealth, and it's just, they're not fun.
Yeah, and
at
like
all.
They're really, really difficult to the point where it feels like they're not designed to be played in a stealthy way. It's like, do you know how to map routes in stealth sections? Like, it's supposed to be unrealistic and fun. You can see a pattern to the enemy's movements, and you can see an entry point. But I was looking at some of these scenarios when you're doing the stealth stuff, and I'm like, there's nowhere to go.
The one where you have to carry the girl is it took me like 3 times to get through that. It was so awful.
I wouldn't even talk about that whole segment.
That whole level is really bad. That's actually the campaign. That's the mission that I replayed last night to record footage for this.
Oh, why would you do that?
I didn't remember it was that one. And then I got into it and I was like, oh wait, no, this level shows everything. It's got the stealth and the driving and the bad story stuff. So yeah, like here are the things I really love in my Call of Duty games. Slow recharging health, bad stealth sections, bad driving sections,
awful,
and no set pieces. Well, I mean, I would say no, but like those 3, like why are there stealth sections and like numerous driving sequences in this game where you're in a vehicle, and those are pretty terrible as well.
Yeah, everything feels bad.
The Jeep was like, I played it and I was like, oh, whatever. This feels like a Call of Duty Jeep. But then it's like the tank mission was...
Oh my god, the tank mission was the worst thing I played this year. I want to talk about the tank mission. That tank mission this is the worst thing I played in this entire year.
Okay.
So
I didn't have that many problems with it, but I did not enjoy it.
I'm going to assume that a lot of people haven't played the World War II campaign, because I don't know about its sales figures, but even people who have picked up Call of Duty in the past don't touch the campaign.
Yeah.
But don't play it, by the way. If you're listening to this, never touch it.
It's so boring.
But you get into this section where you're playing as a tank, which I don't like tank missions in good first-person shooters. They're not for me. I don't like mech combat. I like
them in Halo.
What was that?
I like them in Halo.
Yeah, they're a bit more fun. I'm just not a slow machine type of guy. I don't like that.
That's fair, yeah.
But the mission starts out, and you get to this portion of the game where there's an enemy tank in front of you, and the guy's like, you have to shoot it in the back.
Mm-hmm.
So it's in front of me, so instinctively I just go up to it and I just try and go around him. I just try and drive around the tank. It says shoot him in the back, so I'm like, all right, I'm just going to drive around the back of the tank. But the game, that's not how you're supposed to do it, which is fine.
No.
I misinterpreted the instructions, but the game didn't know what to do as I was attempting to do this. It didn't, I guess that anyone would try and play it this way, but I was like, I mean, I've got nothing to lose. There's checkpoints every like 10 seconds. I'm just going to try and drive around him. And there was this awfully bizarre moment where I got closer to the enemy tank and the game didn't know what was going on. And the enemy tank's turret clipped straight into my camera, so I couldn't see anything. I could just see down the pillar of the tank. And I didn't know which way was the front of my tank and which way was the back of my tank. And I'm just spinning in circles with just a hollow tube in my face, thinking, what the fuck is happening here? I died, obviously.
Yeah.
So I replayed it, and the whole section, like there's 4 tanks in total, and you're just driving around hoping...
In circles.
Because you don't know where the tanks are.
No.
Your teammates don't shout anything, there's no radar, so you're just randomly driving around this awkward-to-control vehicle, hoping that by coincidence you come around a corner and the back of the tank is facing you. And if the back of the tank isn't facing you and he's looking at you, you just have to kind of awkwardly shuffle backwards, turn around, and then just drive around again, hoping that you find the back of the tank. And it's just so bad. I couldn't believe how bad it was. I was in shock. It was embarrassing.
The one that really hit me as being terrible was the plane section.
God,
that was like the tank one. I got through it and I was like, that was dumb. But the plane section was like the jankiest looking thing I've seen in a long time. It was just, there's like no collision. If you drive directly into your friendly planes, you just sort of bounce off of them. And I got too far forward and I was like,
I did that.
You're out of the mission zone.
I was like,
it's like,
wait, what?
I'm like 30 feet in front of you. Like, it was just so bad.
Boy, oh boy. Let's look at my notes.
One of the things that I noticed in every single mission, there's a section where you are stationary, shooting into like a big open area that is full of Nazis, and you just kill them for like 5 minutes until they turn around and run away.
Yeah.
There's like one of those in every single mission, at least one of them.
I have something written down here which relates to that, where it has this weird, I don't know how to describe it, like power balance, where as a player in a war game, you want to feel like you're making an impact. You want to feel like you're helping and possibly saving the day. But also there needs to be like a little level of realism where you're also in danger. But World War II doesn't do either of those. There's times where waves of like hundreds and hundreds of enemies, maybe an exaggeration, but like a lot of enemies are coming at you. And you snipe like 6 of them and then they retreat.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't do anything. I didn't help at all. There was like 70 enemies. I didn't help. And then the opposite happens where you should be in danger, but you're not. There's sequences in the game where you're saving a teammate or something, and you're dragging him by his collar out of combat.
God,
and there's like 50 enemy soldiers looking directly at you with nothing in between you, no cover, and they're just like shooting around you. And I understand that happens in games. Enemies are bad shots because it's not fun for the player to die and to not feel empowered, but it was just so badly designed that illusion was broken. It was immersion break, and it was just like, wow, this is just weird. It was awkward.
And every single campaign mission has one of those segments where they're just like, we gotta hold them off, and you just like shoot 10 of them, and then they're like, they're running away. And it's like, oh, that was easy. I guess that's why the Krauts lost the war, because God forbid they say Nazi in this game.
Oh my god.
That's another point. It's like it's such a dumbed down World War II. Like there is no villain in the game at all.
No,
which
not really,
that's fine, more or less. There was always only one true villain in World War II, and but like they pretty much only ever call them Krauts, which is I was just so tired of by the end of that campaign, which is a small thing. And also, Did you know America was the only faction that fought the Germans in World War II? Because it sure seems like that. I played Call of Duty World War II, and now I rewrote the history books. It's like, it's such a rah America campaign. Like, you play as a French woman for like 5 minutes, and then the Americans show up and are like, okay, we'll take care of it from here, lady. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Stupid Frenchie.
That was the one mission where it tried to do something creative, where you have to like memorize some undercover information, but it just ends up you walking around just talking to lieutenants and hoping that's the right one for.
Yeah.
It didn't try anything new.
No.
In the game. Not a single new idea.
No. There was a quote from Eric Hirschberg, who's like the CEO or something of Activision. And he was like, he straight up said, Sledgehammer really wanted to make Advanced Warfare 2, but we told them they needed to make a World War II game because that's what the marketing research data said. And when I saw that, I was like, yeah, that sounds 100% accurate, because these guys know how to make a good game.
Yeah.
I know like the multiplayer community for COD really hated Advanced Warfare's multiplayer, but I really enjoyed it. But just regarding the campaign alone, they know what they're doing. And I look at this game and I didn't hate it. Like, I didn't find it miserable. I didn't find any part of it to be like terrible. I just found the whole thing to be so like mind-numbingly boring and uninspired. And the entire time I was playing it, I was thinking, this is made by people who don't want to be making this game.
Oh yeah. And
when this Activision guy said, yeah, we forced them to make this game, I was like, yeah, it's obvious.
100%.
Like, yeah. And that's a bummer. Like, that's a real downer, that it's like, this exists purely because marketing said, the old video games are coming back in a new way. And fuck that. It's terrible.
It is.
It's not terrible. Bad. It's just so, it's terrible in that it's just so uninspired. That's why I think it's bad.
I disagree. I think it's terrible.
I know you had a worse time with it than I did. I just
sort of awful time.
I just sort of played it through with my eyes glazed over. I think parts of it are really bad. Like, the story is just terrible.
Yeah, it's really bad.
The way it ends is
there
like
isn't really a
embarrassing.
Story. The only thing it's going for is character development. It's trying to develop a group of characters, and it just does an awful job. The only time I was ever interested in the game is it attempts to give Josh Duval, is that his name?
Duhamel.
Whatever.
Close enough.
They tried to give his character a little bit of an arc, because at first he's a grumpy, mean lieutenant, and he's mean to you. And then you hear some whispers like, oh, he led his troops and they all died in battle. And then there was a section of the game where he was getting really drunk. And I was like, I think I know what's coming. He's going to make some bad decisions, and there's going to be like a revolt against him, and it's going to turn out that he's actually the villains. And maybe it will do like an Americans versus Americans bit where it's like, I don't know. I just thought, hey, this could lead to something interesting.
Like a rogue squadron that's going AWOL or something.
There's like another chat where the guy's like, no, he didn't kill his troops or get them killed. He actually tried to save them, and he's a good guy. And then that's it. That's it. And then you just like him afterwards. You're like, actually, you're not a bad guy after all.
Yeah, and then you're just best friends.
Yeah. And then there's one other guy who's supposed to be your actual pal. And
the guy from Hannibal.
He doesn't actually really have a personality. You just fight next to him.
No.
And then there's actually like a mini cast of other people who pop up so infrequently that
I don't even know. I didn't even know who they were.
I don't know who they were. Yeah. Like, one of the guys
was the guy with the glasses.
He had a very like Bad Company feel to him. One of the guys, and they were more entertaining than the main guy.
Man, I just remember how good the Bad Company campaigns were.
Yeah,
fuck.
Good characters.
Jesus.
Nice development. Distinct personalities.
And then at the end, you go to a concentration camp, and I laughed because it was so bad.
Wow. Oh yeah, they handle it awfully. They're not even like brave enough to show like the real horrors of concentration camps. It's literally
just like a burned down building, and they're
it's
like, "Oh
empty.
my god, this is so fucked up." And you're like, "It's just a burned down building, y'all. What are you
talking
about?"
You can't even do like sensitive material correctly. Like, if you're gonna show emotionally impactful stuff that was real, like do it the credit of making it look awful. There was just like a few dead bodies on the floor. It's like this could be anywhere in
the
war.
The opening mission of the campaign is Saving Private Ryan, but then the second half of it is like a beat-for-beat remake of Band of Brothers.
Yeah.
Because they go to the Ardennes and it's winter, and then they go to the Bulge, and then it's like, okay, we go to a shitty concentration camp. Like, I was just thinking, this is just all Band of Brothers, but it's so much worse.
Oh, the writing in this game as well. Like, some of the situations
Joe, it all came
into.
full circle.
Oh, don't get me started on the fucking full circle thing. It doesn't even make sense. It doesn't even make sense. What were they thinking?
Stupid Bill Clinton sounding motherfucker.
Oh my god. So we have to talk about this. So there's a random flashback in the game where your main character, he has this old memory of when he was in the woods hunting with his brother, and his brother got attacked by a wolf, and you were too scared to shoot the wolf. Yep. So your brother died. That's a really weird scene. Your brother's like, all right, Billy, let's get back to the farm. And then he just falls over dead.
Yeah.
He's like, wow, you should have had some urgency to your voice, and I would have run get help. But anyway, that flashback happened. I was like, okay. I'm not. I guess that's supposed to be like he was a coward back then, and now he's going to get braver. Mm-hmm. But then weirdly, near the end, you're running through the woods to rescue your friend from being executed by a Nazi. And he's like, it's all come full circle.
He literally says, he looks right at the camera and says, it all came full circle.
I was like, what are you talking about? How is it come full circle? Just because two events...
You killed the Nazi wolf.
Just because two events are similar in setting doesn't mean that's the beginning and end of a character arc. This started in a woods, and it's going to end in a woods.
I like you arrive like 1 nanosecond before your friend gets shot in the head as well.
Yes, it's fucking stupid.
Oh, that was good timing. Good
they didn't even have... they couldn't even just kill one guy in a concentration camp. You fucking cowards. You're covering World War II.
Yeah, World War II was a horrible, horrible nightmare.
Yeah.
And this just makes it seem like the most boring rah-rah America propaganda event in history.
Oh, there was also that one moment in the campaign where that woman loses her little sister, and I audibly stood up from my computer and was yelling on my own.
It's so bad.
Oh my!
You're like
God.
walking out of a basement with nothing but safe, like you're surrounded by your friends and then like these friendly American World War II soldiers. Mm-hmm. And you literally have one care in the world and it's protecting your little sister, and she forgets to bring her with her out of the basement of the church, and you're like,
there's no fucking way. There's absolutely no way.
And then they all just get shot in the truck at like 2 minutes later.
Yeah. For people who haven't played it, the distance from the basement up the stairs through the lobby of this hotel is like a 3 or 4 minute walk. It's a long way. And not once did she check if her baby sister was like holding her hand or even behind her. She was like, I should follow. She'll probably follow me. And what was the little sister doing? She knows that her big sister is her guardian.
Hiding in a closet.
She's her safe ticket. She would always stay by her side. And when you go back into the basement, she's not even in the same place. She's gone further into the basement. Yeah. She went backwards.
And then also once you grab the little sister, like the whole building that is like your whole squad and all the Americans are standing outside of, the interior of the building becomes full of hundreds of Nazis.
Yeah, where'd they come from?
And it's like, wow. And they actually say that. I was, because I had to replay it last night to capture footage, I accidentally picked that level. And he actually says, where did all these Nazis, these krauts come from? And it's like, yeah, I would love to know, because the outside of the building is surrounded by American troops. What the fuck? Oh, also, this game has the worst QTE, QuickTime events, I've ever had played in a video game. I failed every single one of them at least once. It was infuriating.
Oh my god. There was also a lot of times in the campaign where I would just die. Like, I'd be shooting full health, and then just... I was like, what happened? And then eventually you'll discover that there's one guy with a rocket launcher. And I was like, well,
right.
How am I supposed to know he's up there with a rocket launcher? It doesn't tell me I got killed by a guy with... Oh, for fuck's sake.
He just died.
Because usually if you get blown up by a grenade, it says, watch out, there's a grenade symbol. Keep an eye out for that.
Does this game have the funny quotes when you die? Does it? I'm
not sure.
Remember.
I am not sure.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the gameplay a little bit, because...
Okay.
Like, we're gonna transition over to Battlefront 2.
Well, we have 2 other things in Call of Duty to talk about.
I know it will.
Okay.
Like, there's only one saving grace in the Battlefront 2 campaign, and this is mild spoilers ahead, but I found Battlefront 2 at least mildly interesting to play. And just shoot things. Let's just say I like shooting things in Battlefront 2.
Okay.
I don't know how they broke the gunplay in Call of Duty, but it just didn't feel good. I feel like the enemies took a lot of shots, more than they usually do in campaigns. It's very satisfying to play Call of Duty. Multiplayer campaigns, you just feel powerful. You can feel like you can mow down a team of enemies, but again, with the health system, you have to be a bit more careful. And I'm not sure if it was just me, but it just felt like they were taking more bullets than usual. And I also felt like the guns available were just lame and strange. There would be like close combat missions where every German dropped a car. And all I had was like a bolt action sniper in these buildings. And I was like, just drop an SMG or something. I don't want to use this bolt action car. It's shit.
I just don't find World War II guns to be very fun to use. It's part of why I don't play much of Battlefield 1. Like I felt this way throughout the entire Call of Duty campaign. It was just like, these guns are just not very fun. And like the clips are tiny and you have to reload and they take like 30 seconds to reload and you get like 5 more shots. And
after playing zombies, you get a very quick view of how many guns are in the game. And there's quite a few assault rifles and SMGs which are fun enough to use. And it just really feels like they recycle like 2 to 3 guns throughout the whole campaign. There's not a large variety of stuff to use.
I will say I think the gunplay feels much better in the multiplayer than it does in any of the other 2 modes. I think part of that is due to the like really aggressive when you hit an enemy in the multiplayer. You know, they've got a lot of the hit tick noise. That makes it feel, I don't know, something about that just like triggers the lizard part of my brain that's like, yes. But I will forget about this campaign. I played 2 or 3 hours of the multiplayer, and I think it's fine. I think it's solid. It's Call of Duty, so people are really good at it, and I still have fundamental issues with Call of Duty's multiplayer that they seem completely unable to fix, like the spawns being terrible and, very inaccurate kill cams, stuff like that. It's still Call of Duty. But I think the slower pace of it and the simple movement and simpler guns, I think it feels good to play. Like I didn't have a bad time with it. I mean, I'm not going to play much any more of it now that we've reviewed it and I have footage for it, but I played it and I was like, yeah, this is fine. This is solid.
I didn't play anything really of the multiplayer just because I'm not interested. And I'm not going to force myself to play something that I don't want to play, even to review it. We're not critics. We just do this because we enjoy it. But one thing I do want to comment, again, it's sort of going back to the campaign, but I assume this transitions over into multiplayer. I have one positive for these 2 sections. The game is actually pretty violent. There's a lot of times in the campaigns where people's limbs were being blown off. And you don't usually see that in Call of Duty. It's usually very much like you shoot people and they fall down. So I was kind of surprised to see people blown to bits in the campaign. And I assume it happens in the multiplayer if you use explosives.
It does, yeah.
Yeah, that's something. I wanted to say a positive.
Yeah, and we played... Well, I'll just conclude the multiplayer. Like, I think... my biggest problem with the multiplayer in this, and actually the game as a whole... is that it was like profoundly unstable for me on the PC.
Oh, is it?
I would say probably 60, maybe even 70% of the multiplayer matches I played, the game would hard crash on me. It was running out of, I think it has a memory leak or something.
Oh, yeah.
But also the campaign crashed for me several times as well. Like I've had more crashes in Call of Duty than I have in any other game I've played in years. Like it's, I think I've put like 8 hours, maybe 9 total into the game across all the modes, and I would say it probably crashed. Like almost 10, probably close to 10 times in those 8 hours.
I don't know if I had any crashes.
So I don't know what's up with that, but it really killed the multiplayer for me because it was like I was playing last night to try and get footage again, and I spent like an hour and a half trying to just record a full game all the way through because it crashed on me like two times during a session, and that sucks.
I did check out the social space, that they made
Yeah,
on Normandy Beach.
Yeah.
The only thing I heard about it was the loot box stuff.
Right.
But ever since Battlefront 2, it seems fine now. It just seems absolutely fine. I had a quick walk around and I was like, hey, this is kind of neat. Like, people can have 1v1 battles and you can watch them do that. You can walk around and pick up stuff
part's cool.
in person.
I thought that was neat.
And
the 1v1 stuff.
I don't think it adds anything to the multiplayer. I don't think it's an innovation. But, yeah. I thought it was going to be stupid, and I thought it was a fun little novelty.
It's like the Destiny Tower, except you can fight people in it in a zone.
I think it's fine.
I don't really know why it exists. I think we'd be better off with just a menu system, but whatever, that's fine. Yeah, it's mostly harmless, aside from the part where you can see people's loot crates open up in front of you, and there are bounties to watch people open crates, which is disgusting.
They should have just got rid of that bounty, and they could have got away with it. They really could have snuck away, you know.
Yeah. Well, that's Call of Duty. I would say if you're a weirdo like us that like Call of Duty campaigns, do not play this one.
Oh,
it's not
fuck
good.
no. No way.
But I think if you are a normal person that likes Call of Duty that plays it for the multiplayer, I would say it seems pretty solid.
Yeah,
there's only 9 maps, I think, and I feel like I only ever played 4 of them over and over again.
Yeah.
But, I don't know. The multiplayer seems solid. It's sort of slower.
People are liking it from the community. Yeah. I think people are enjoying it.
I had a decent
worst
time
campaign I played in years. I mean, it's fucking awful.
I don't know.
Well, let's transition into a very similar note. Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh God.
I'm gonna go grey after this review. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All right, Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Should we get the easy thing out of the way first, which is the campaign?
Yes. Yeah, I was gonna start with the campaign.
Yeah.
Oh boy, you know what? You take lead, man. You take lead. It sucks.
The campaign sucks. I hated it. I hated it more than I hated Call of Duty. Because Call of Duty, I just played and I was like, well, that was boring. This, I think I agree with you that like the act of shooting things in this campaign is more enjoyable.
Yes.
But it's only enjoyable because it's the easiest campaign ever made because the AI doesn't know what to do and we were playing on the PC. You just walk around and one-shot, headshot every single enemy in the game, and it's kind of satisfying.
Yeah, mildly,
just endlessly try and one-shot every single enemy you meet. So I didn't mind that. I thought, from a control and gameplay point of view, that stuff felt solid, and I enjoyed just one-tapping everyone. But it sure was mindless, and the space flying sections feel fine.
Yes,
they feel better than the multiplayer for some reason. Probably because it's like you're
not
insanely
dying every 5 seconds.
Yeah, and you're insanely overpowered. Oh God. Okay, so this is the first Star Wars game in I don't know, maybe ever or in a long time that is canon. Which great. Can't believe these characters actually exist in the real Star Wars universe. Maybe we should have seen this coming. Like, they announced the campaign and then never showed it off.
Yeah.
And, I know DICE didn't make it. It was EA Motive. But, like, DICE campaigns or campaigns in DICE games don't have a good track record post Bad Company 2.
Yeah.
But I was still,
I think
mildly...
leading up to it, we were at least hoping for something along the Call of Duty level. Not World War II, before World War II. Something mindless, 6 hours, something comfy with maybe some fun cinematic theatrical stuff.
Yeah, and I would say this game as a whole has a good sense of theatricality in it, in the way it looks, and in the visuals and the sound. And there's definitely pleasure to be had both in the campaign and multiplayer just because it looks and sounds great. But I think everyone on planet Earth predicted that when they said, you play as an Empire lady, she's a bad guy, you're killing rebels. I think everyone on Earth said, I wonder how quickly into the game she's going to turn to the good side. Turns out it's about 45 minutes.
Yeah, it is.
And I don't care. I'm spoiling this whole story because it's completely dog shit. There is basically no story outside of the first and last 30 minutes of the game. And so you play as a rebel lady. What's her name? I don't even remember. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know.
Leader of Inferno Squad. The Death Star blows up. You go on like one more mission and you kill some rebels, and then she's like, "Oh my god, this sucks. I'm turning to the good side." And then you just turn to the good side for no reason.
No, she was told to kill people from the Empire, and then she was like, "No, I can't kill Empire." This one didn't make sense.
They're killing... like evacuating the Empire's planet or something.
She was completely content with murdering rebels, lots of them, planet full.
A lot of them.
But as soon as they were killing Empire, she was like, "I'm gonna go with the rebels who I was just slaughtering," which doesn't make sense.
You've killed like 200 of already, and it's
it makes more sense if she just defected from both of them. Doesn't make sense to switch
fuck
sides.
this, I'm going to retire.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense.
So and then you turn to the good side, and then you spend the next 2 hours of the campaign just randomly doing missions with seemingly no connective tissue. Mm-hmm. You will occasionally play as a hero character for no apparent reason. And we'll get back to those. We'll get back to the hero stuff in a minute. And then at the end of the campaign, well, there is no end to the campaign because it's coming in DLC in 2 weeks. And it's free, which that's nice, but like they didn't finish the campaign on the disc. And it just ends, and you're like, really that was a waste of 3 hours of my life. Also, it's like 3 hours long, and it sucks. The hero stuff is the worst part because it's just like, hey, remember Star Wars?
Yeah.
Remember Star Wars?
Why are their faces wrong?
Oh my god, their faces are so wrong.
I don't understand.
Han Solo with a beard is like a nightmare image.
The weird thing is, like, so one second, let me see if I can find this. Someone found some pre-release trailer where they show Luke, and Luke looks like Luke. And then
it was maybe a license issue, and they're like, Mark Hamill's like, "Fuck you! You don't get to use my beautiful face in this game."
I can't be able to search it, but yeah, he in the trailer he actually looked like Luke, and now in
the
game,
last game he looked like Luke.
It's weird.
The worst thing about Disney Star Wars so far, which movies and games, is that they have managed to take a big, grand universe and make it feel extraordinarily small and boring.
Yeah.
It's the same 3 planet types. You know, it's a forest, it's a snow, or it's a desert, and everything revolves around Han Solo and Luke and lightsabers and Darth Vader and Emperor Palpatine, and that's it. And everything revolves around that, and I'm so fucking tired of it because I've had enough of them. Yeah. It's like, I get it. I know who these people are. They've had their story. And you just randomly play as heroes for no reason. Now I'm playing as this monstrous, hideous, freak-looking Luke on this Mass Effect Andromeda-looking planet, and I'm just killing every stormtrooper I see for no reason. And then I'm killing bugs and breaking Ember with my lightsaber. Yeah, and then I come across a story character who I should just cut his fucking head off because that's what Luke did to everyone else prior to them.
Yes.
And he's just like, "Do you need help?" And he's like, "Yeah, I need help." He's like, "Okay, we're friends now." And then you kill more bugs while he hacks a thing, and then the mission ends. And you're like, huh? What? And then it's like, oh, now I'm Iden Versio again, and I'm fighting on Hoth. And now I'm Leia for no reason, and now I'm Han Solo with a beard. Millennium Falcon.
I want to say that killing the bugs is the most creative thing they do in the whole game out of everything. It's the only thing that isn't pushing through a group of enemies and pushing a button.
You're probably right. The entire campaign is a tutorial for the multiplayer.
Yes.
Like a blatant tutorial for the multiplayer, and it sucks. I fucking hated the Battlefront 2 campaign. The story is non-existent. The characters, the faces, and everyone look terrible. It's like this weird garbage fan fiction game.
Yeah.
And it's making me hate this universe that could be cool.
I think we've done a role reversal because I found World War II to be like offensively bad. And you found it to be just like a mindless drone. And I found that with Battlefront. I wasn't angry at it. I was just disappointed. They were just so lazy and careful There's a few moments in the campaign where they almost tease you with like, okay, we have a level and here's a little concept. Maybe there'll be something fun we'll do with this. I think an example of that is you are playing as Lando on this planet where there's like a lava factory.
Yeah.
And it's a cool setting. It looks neat. And there's this bit where the factory is filling up with lava. And you have to bring an AT-AT down as a platform. And I was like, this is cool. This is a cool concept. This factory is filling up with lava, and I'm using the machines in the factory as platforms. And then you jump on the AT-AT, and then you leave the factory. And that's it.
Yep.
It's over.
The mission ends.
So every time it just shows like a sprinkle of like, this could be a fun introduction to some level design. It's nothing. It's just a step to get towards more enemies to shoot in the head and then leave. The levels last like 5 minutes. It's really weird.
They're so short.
It feels like they thought you getting through the wave of enemies was going to take you longer. But it doesn't.
It's like they didn't balance it for the PC at all, because a mouse and keyboard and a one-shot headshot for literally, there's only like 4 enemy types, and it's literally one shot for every one of them.
Yeah.
And you just hold forward and go click, 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 and everyone dies.
Yeah, and then you're done.
And then the mission's over, and you're like, oh, that's it. Okay.
It moves so fast that it just feels strange, momentum-wise and pacing-wise. It feels really rushed and, I don't know, unbalanced.
Yeah. Well, I think it probably was rushed, because I don't think the studio existed a year ago.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll say this, and it is too cruel to Battlefront, but I did think of it a few times. I felt nothing for Call of Duty, but there were a few moments in Battlefront 2's campaign where I thought of Mass Effect Andromeda. And now that is obviously too cruel, because, let's be real here.
My God.
But like,
would you calm down?
The quality of the writing and the performances and some of the mission designs and like the Luke segment, the planet looks straight out of Mass Effect Andromeda. It looks like the first opening area with the lightning and bugs. And Luke looks like he fell out of Mass Effect Andromeda and is talking like he fell out of Mass Effect Andromeda.
Yeah, the dialogue is awful.
It's terrible. The writing is so bad. Like one of the 2 writers for this campaign wrote Spec Ops: The Line, and I just weep for him.
Wow.
How the mighty have fallen. The campaign, it's just so boring and bad. I think I wish I hadn't played it, honestly. Like,
wow.
I was laughing at how bad parts of it were. It was
they did a really bad job of making the environments feel big in scale. There's only one level in the entire game which I think does anything interesting with the possibility of the scope of space. And on the very last level, not the weird Kylo Ren shit, which doesn't make any sense.
Oh, God.
Like, there's one level where you're kind of just flying around a battlefield helping on small-scale battles to help with the grander picture.
Is that on Jakku?
I think so. You land and you blow up some Starship Factory, then you get back up in the air, you land and blow up some AT-ATs. And
and then you land on the side of the Star Destroyer.
Yeah, that one level at least attempted to give some scale to the events of what was happening. Mm-hmm. But apart from that, nothing. And even in that last level, I don't think you even seamlessly took off. I'm pretty sure there was like a small cutscene of you entering into the ship, little loading area, automatically chucks you up into the air.
Yeah.
I mean, like, even in the old Star Wars Battlefront, it allowed you to take off on a ship and land it in one of the modes. You could do that. It's janky, but you could do that. And since 2015 and this new one in 2017, they haven't done that once. Just let me take off in a ship, fly around and land it somewhere. Come on, it's 2017.
Also, but Joe, this is for Star Wars people, and they're fucking idiots, obviously, because that's how they seem to be treated by Disney and EA. Like, Star Wars people, well, they're the dumbest idiots on earth. They'll eat anything we shove in their fucking mouth. But I don't actually, I don't think that way of Star Wars people, but that's the way this game feels to me a lot of the times, where it's like, just eat the Star Wars, you pig. Shut up. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
And also, the majority of the maps in the campaign are from multiplayer. They're just the multiplayer maps. And there are even a few maps in the campaign that were multiplayer maps from the first game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, wow, they can't even make a level for the campaign. They just take the multiplayer map and move some assets around, and then it's like, okay, done.
It's I found it like World War II. I was just so angry at that I was glad it was over. I was actually pretty disappointed with Battlefront 2 because World War II was just blatantly shit in every way. Battlefront 2 for me had very small glimpses of potential, if that makes sense. Like when I was saying with some of the locations and the very last level where you were actually just doing smaller scale stuff in a grander scheme and it felt like a bit big. I actually wish that last level was just bad like the other ones. So that there was no tease.
Just forget about it.
No tease of potential. So I was disappointed because, you know, after the cancelling of Visceral's, is it right? Visual Games?
Mm-hmm.
Visceral's Star Wars campaign, even though we didn't get to see it. This came right after that. And it was just kind of like, you guys, they're just treating Star Wars very badly, video games.
Yep.
The movies are doing their best. They're not masterpieces, but they're fun. They're at least fun.
Yeah.
Fucking video games are destroying Star Wars, and I don't know, man. I was just a bit bummed out by the campaign. It could have been cool, but it was shit.
Well, I hated it.
Before this,
I actually laughed several times out loud at how bad parts of it were.
Before this, I was going to say, between us, we should try and figure out which campaign is worse, World War II or Battlefront 2. But I think me and you have come to a perfect stalemate.
Yeah, maybe.
We think equally about each of the other campaigns.
Nothing in Call of Duty looks as terrible as Luke's stupid face in this game. So
That's true.
Call of Duty wins.
Okay, yeah, Call of Duty's... I don't know. Let's just say,
honestly,
together with our opinions, they are both utter disasters. Utter disasters. It's very bizarre because first-person shooter campaigns from last year were really on the rise.
They were so good last year.
Yeah. And even though I didn't enjoy Wolfenstein 2, there was a lot to be gained from that game.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can call either within strictly a shooter, but I enjoyed playing it. We had Doom, Titanfall 2 last year. It was just a good time
Infinite
for shooters.
Warfare last year.
Yeah, Infinite Warfare was good.
They were super hot. There were a lot of good first-person shooters last year. And
And then November of 2017 came along and undid everything.
Fuck you, November. You suck.
November. All right, do you want to move on to
that's just the appetizer.
Oh, God, yeah, we haven't even
the main
into this
feast.
Stuff. The multiplayer. The multiplayer. So I'm not sure if there's much to be said about the loot box fiasco that hasn't been said or covered.
Well, specifically the microtransaction part of it.
Well, no, just the loot box system is fundamentally tied into
yes. Yeah. The microtransaction stuff is a mess, but it's not in the game, so it's terrible. We'll talk about loot boxes as they exist in the game right now. Who knows what the microtransactions will be in a month? They pulled them 6 hours before the game launched. It's an amazing dumpster fire.
Oh yeah, it's the biggest disaster I've ever seen.
Yeah. But so let's talk about how they're implemented in the game in the multiplayer from a functionality perspective. The entire progression system in this game is built around loot boxes. The everything about it is built around loot boxes. Yeah, so you get unlocks completely randomly. You don't get to work towards something that you are interested in playing or unlocking, like in other multiplayer games. Even in Call of Duty, if you want to unlock or improve your assault rifle, you use the gun. And then it gets better and you are rewarded. This game, you're shit out of luck. You better just hope on a dice roll. Technically, the weapon unlocks, there's 4 weapons for each class. Those unlock based on kills with the class in general.
Saved.
So, Battlefront redeemed, the end of review. Horizon. But that's the only aspect of it. And so you play a match and you earn credits. Mm-hmm. And you use those credits to either eventually unlock a hero, or you use those credits to buy a loot box because you can't buy them with real money anymore. And they're extraordinarily expensive. I have not bought a loot. I have not purchased anything with credits for like probably the last, I don't know, 6 or 7 hours of multiplayer I played, and I only have 7,000 credits, and a loot box is 4,000.
Wow.
So I've played like 6 hours worth, and we'll get one loot box out of it. And you open that loot box, and it's got one of 7,000 different things that can drop from it. If you get a star card, they directly affect gameplay. Some of them are like your health regenerates faster, or you deal more damage, and that's insane. Some of them are completely meaningless, like your weapon cooldown is 0.2 seconds faster, and it's like, wow, that's so noticeable. I'm so glad I spent 4,000 credits on this loot box.
Yeah. You
can also get crafting materials and this other currency, which I can't even remember, and it just goes on. I remember when I finally dug into the multiplayer menus for this game, it took me like 30 minutes to figure out what was going on with the menus.
I never figured it out. I didn't bother.
It's insane.
I don't think I have any cards right now.
You probably don't.
I don't think I have any cards. I never bothered to figure it out.
So like you get the card and you have one unlocked slot, but then the only way to unlock more slots, you can have up to 3 slots for cards. The only way to upgrade those is to upgrade the class, and the only way to upgrade the class is to get cards for the class. And so,
but how do you use the cards if you haven't upgraded the class?
Exactly. You buy loot boxes with real money. So the entire game is built around, like literally the entire game is built around you buying loot boxes with your real money.
100%.
And they've pulled that from the game, and now it's just this like insane free-to-play grind game, but it's $90 in Canada and in the UK. Like I said, I think I played probably like 12 hours of the multiplayer in total. I bought like two loot boxes at the beginning with credits, and I have since not bought anything with them. I am only halfway to unlocking, having enough points to unlock, I don't know, Darth Vader. And I have enough for one loot box. And it's like the grind in this game right now is like unfathomable. It's astonishing. And the fact that they've built the entire game around the fact that there are gameplay changing cards that you can get that make you stronger is insane. Like, you get killed and it's like, oh, that guy has a purple weapon damage mod, and it's like he just deals more damage. Fuck me, I guess. Like,
yeah,
it's insane, and the game is actually worse since they've pulled the microtransactions from it, because there's literally no way to get these things except for grinding and playing an insane amount of the game.
This game is a disaster.
It is, like, from a design, everything. Okay, like, you know, people have, like, rightfully so, been very upset about the loot box microtransaction stuff, but like, that's just one of the things in this multiplayer that suck. Like, there's so much wrong with it.
A lot of people were saying, I think the statement was, we feel like, I think this came from EA themselves. They were like, people have been saying that the loot box system has undermined an otherwise great experience.
No.
It's not an otherwise great experience, because I didn't even touch the loot box stuff. I didn't even put in the effort to look into it, because it was complex and I didn't understand what the fuck was going on. I just wanted to jump in and shoot some people. And the multiplayer's not fun.
No, not really.
It's not fun outside of the progression system. I don't like the maps. I think when me and you played, I found one or two that I had some mild enjoyment on.
Yeah.
But there was something, last session we played, I think we concluded, I don't know if it's a PC thing, but something just felt a bit off about shooting. I didn't bring this up when we were talking about the campaign, but as I was going through the campaign, I would stop probably every 5 minutes to adjust the sensitivity, because I could just never get it down. And I'm not a competitive shooter guy. If the sensitivity's 85 in one game and 75 in another game, I just adjust. I just play 2 hours and you get used to it. But there was something about this game where I just didn't feel like I was shooting where I wanted to shoot a lot of the times. It's really hard to explain it.
It's very like it feels very pinpoint accurate, and the gunplay I think feels solid at like a medium distance. But anything long range or anything close range, it feels like a complete mess. And I know exactly what you mean. It's this weird, like indescribable thing where it's like I'm not. It does not feel like I'm shooting where I should be shooting. And that's like one of the many issues with the multiplayer is like it's just not very fun to shoot the guns in the game. Like the reticles are tiny, and the hitboxes are generous, and you get killed around corners, and all the maps are choke points. Like nothing about the gameplay is very fun. You said, and I said the maps. Like there's one or two, they're that are all right, but for the most part, they're all the maps are just a straight line, and most of them are filled with like the craziest choke points I've ever seen in a multiplayer game. Where it's like you have one entrance into this room. Good luck. And it's like
it's just a grenade clusterfuck.
Yeah, and it's like every map is like that. And then, or there's also little crazy things. Like I noticed there are some maps where if you're playing the Stormtroopers, you're just going to win because you're like invisible on the map.
Oh, because, the sandy ones with the glare?
Yeah, like they're fancy, lighting where it's like when you're inside, you can't see outside. Excuse me, because because it's all bright. It's like, well, that sucks for me because I'm a rebel and I'm fighting guys that are bright white, and all I see is bright white light. And it's like, the sand map, a couple of the sand maps are very hard to see enemies on when you're playing as a rebel. And Kashyyyk, the cloning facility inside, which is all stark white interiors, the Stormtroopers are like invisible. And it's just like, there are parts of this multiplayer that feel like they never play tested it.
Yeah, some weird imbalances.
What are you doing?
I didn't play a lot of it, but I never figured out how to counter the shields, which the heavy class has.
I don't know.
Like, am I supposed to shoot their feet? But by the time I adjust, I'm like, okay, they have a shield, I'm going to shoot their tootsies. I'm dead.
Yeah.
They've slaughtered me because they have a heavy machine gun. So I never figured out, like, when they put their shield up, how to deal with it. And maybe someone in the comments will be like, this is the way to do it. But it's not fun to learn that. It just feels like I'm being screwed.
And the fact that you can get a shield that has way more health.
Yes, star cards can upgrade it.
From a card is like, it's crazy. And the balance still feels completely out of whack. Like the matchmaking and balance of the weapons, and it's like, oh, this vehicle, this spaceship flying around the map, you need to hit it like with 6 rockets to kill it, and it like one-shots you. And it's like, I've played several games where someone got in a ship at the beginning of the game and stayed alive for the entire game, and he had like 50 kills. And it's like, how is that okay? Like, how is that balanced? You can get the ship like with 500 points or whatever right at the beginning of the game, and he just was alive for the entirety of the match, and that sucks. Like,
I don't know how this happened.
This game is made, but like I don't know who the fuck made this game. Like I know it's DICE, but like I think the first game is better, and that's crazy because like the last Battlefront was shallow as hell and way too casual, and the weird pickup system was bad. But I don't know. I had a better time with the last game's multiplayer than this one. It was simple in a way that was enjoyable, and this is overcomplicated and just has a lot of bad design issues, I think. Like,
oh yeah, like at this point, I think we got to this point where loot boxes are here. They're probably here to stay unless they are literally made illegal and called gambling. But I just don't know what the fuck they were thinking. You don't create a potentially controversial system and not have a backup plan where you're like, okay, they don't like it, for good faith, we're gonna take it out or remove it. They integrated it into the roots of the game, so it's impossible.
Yeah.
Like, even if you're being greedy and you're being evil, this is just a bad way to do it.
Yeah,
because
it was
even an evil villain has an emergency exit, and they didn't give themselves a way out. No, I have so many questions about what they were thinking when they made this game.
They fully 100% committed to this loot box progression system.
But this is $1 million franchise, Star Wars.
Yeah.
They were gambling that people would tolerate the bullshit. They were gambling millions and potentially billions of dollars on if human beings would not be angry. That is not a good gamble to take.
It just goes to show how out of touch both EA and Disney are, because
Jesus Christ.
Disney reviews everything with a microscope that has Star Wars on it.
Yeah.
So Disney approved of all this, and they're like, yeah, people will be okay with this. It's like, what are you talking about?
It's not even the fact that EA show levels of greed that I don't think I've seen many large corporations even stoop to. Not publicly anyway. Not unless it's behind people's back. But they did it so stupidly. It's like, if you're gonna be an evil corporate company, at least be good at it, for fuck's sake.
Like Activision, they're very good at it.
Oh, yeah, Activision Blizzard they're amazing at it. They're smart, they're tactile, and they make good games to keep people content while they drain their wallets. They're masters at it.
Yeah.
EA, you're fucking idiots. You're not even good at... Oh, my God. God damn it, you're so bad.
And even if they completely removed the loot box system and just said everything is unlocked for everyone, or you just unlock things by playing now, or I don't know, I would still not want to play it because there's just so many problems with it. And now, as of this latest recording, the rubber banding is a huge problem. I've seen it in 2 of the 4 matches I've played in the last couple of days. And it's like, okay, this match is just unplayable. Might as well just quit out and hope the next one is all right. And then, it's just the fundamental... Also, they changed the... what do they... I don't even know what they call the battle point system, where you're in the game and you earn points and you can unlock basically a kill streak for doing well.
Oh, right, yeah.
That system sucks because you can only have so many of each character in the battlefield, the Battlefront. And it's like, oh, I have enough points for Yoda. Oh, someone else is playing Yoda. Okay, I guess I don't get to do anything with my points that I earned. And then it's
you can't have 2 Yodas. It has to be canon, Jameson. It has to be canon.
Fuck Star Wars. And then it's like, oh, I'm doing really well. I got my hero. I step outside. Oh, a spaceship killed me instantly. So I just spent 15 minutes earning all those credits, stepped out the door and was killed instantly, and I'm now back to 0. And that is garbage. It fucking sucks. I would much rather, and this is a terrible system in the first game, but I would rather you just walk over and pick up the hero thing and get killed, because there's no skill, there's no require, you're not reward. It's not a reward. It's just a thing you picked up. Whereas this, it's like, oh, I'm doing well. Oh, fuck you. You just got killed instantly. Haha, you spending all your points on that hero. Go back to 0. And it's like, oh, okay, why am I playing this game?
That is a good question.
Also, there's no credit. You don't get rewarded for doing well in the game.
Oh, yeah, that's another thing.
So you get credits at the end of a match, and the credits are entirely based on the length of the match and nothing else.
Oh my God, they can't even get the post-game statistics right. How'd you fuck
that
up?
So they patched that yesterday.
Oh, okay.
They changed it, so now it says 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th. That's it.
Okay.
But up until yesterday, the MVP screen was completely inaccurate.
How?
Where it's like, the few times I was up there, it was always wrong. Where it's like, you had the most kills with 22, and it's like, nope, I had 30. You got that completely wrong.
How do you fuck that up?
I don't know. I don't know how they get that wrong. It's insane.
Oh my God.
The credits thing made me almost uninstall the game when I discovered that last weekend. I knew people had already figured it out, but the news hadn't reached me.
Yeah.
And so I played a game and was number 1, and it was like, wow, that was fun. And I got 280 credits. I'm like, that's terrible. And then the next game I did horribly, and I got 230. And I was like, oh, there's no reward for doing well in this game. And so people have now started rampantly just farming credits AFK. I played last night, and I have footage of 2 people just jumping for the entire game.
Yeah.
So that why wouldn't they,
Yeah, can't blame them.
You have to think about it. You need 200, you get let's say 250 credits per Galactic Assault match, which is probably 20 minutes. You need 15,000 to unlock something like Darth Vader. And you get 250 per match. That's an insane number of games.
Yeah. What was it before? They patched it as well? Was it 50?
75.
Wow.
Yeah, it used to be 75,000 to unlock some of the heroes, I think.
Hell.
That's like, I think people did the math. It was like 40 hours to unlock one hero prior to them patching it. So it's like they can't get the post-match screen right, and so they patched it out, which is probably for the better. They can't reward players for doing well. They can't design maps properly. They can't make the shooting feel right. They can't make it feel balanced because the stormtroopers are invisible on some of the maps. The ships are overpowered. It's a fucking disaster.
It is a disaster, yeah.
And not even the... I was going to say, like, oh, the audio-visual experience is the only uncompromised part of the game. But it's not, because the hero stuff, it looks and sounds like a bad porn parody or something. Where it's like, every time Han Solo spawns in, he's like, it's Han Solo, Captain of the Millennium Falcon. And you're like, oh my God, this is embarrassing. Like, the voice acting and general look and feel of the third-person hero stuff is just, it's terrible.
It's close to Mass Effect on Andromeda. It's close.
Well, in terms of like quality-wise, no, Mass Effect is so much worse. But
yes,
the number of
fumbles,
bad decisions in this game for such a huge game is astonishing.
It's amazing.
And it's a shame because Star Wars should have some good games.
Battlefront should be good.
Yeah. It was good 15 years ago.
Yeah.
They should have been able to, update and like it's DICE, the Battlefield games are good.
Yeah, they are. They're fun.
like just make Battlefield 1 but put a Star Wars skin on it and it would be a great game.
It's true.
It's just crazy, and
it is. The best thing about the game has been watching it be a disaster. Them continuing to trip over their own feet, failing to explain their decisions. It's just been a catastrophic failure. And
like just the other day they said, people don't want linear games, and it's like, you need to shut up, EA, like right now. You need to stop talking. The number of times they put like their mouth in their own foot, or you know what I mean, foot in the mouth, in like the last 3 weeks is just, it's incredible. And
that's been
the saving
grace of the game, is just watching it unfold.
That's actually probably the best part of the game, is just this general entertainment and fascination over seeing, like, we had this conversation, and it's like, Star Wars games have a rocky road. They've had a rough history, but Disney owns Star Wars now, and
yeah, you're right, it's changed.
And Disney has a seal of quality that you expect from most of their products. And this game, I look at it and be like, oh, Disney don't give a fuck about video games, and nor does EA, which they proved throughout the entire year, of course.
Oh yeah, this has been an awful year for them, a disaster.
It's terrible. They should just give up. Like, they should just stop making video games.
Yeah.
It's Battlefront 2, like, it should have just been a safe, solid bet, because the first game was like, if you just change add more progression to the first game, change the pickup system, put some more maps in, done.
Yes, easy. Literally. Yeah, that's it. Fixed.
That's it. The first game is better. The first game is a better game than this game, and that, like, it's got way less content, and it's better off for it, because there's more content here, and it's almost all terrible.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, this is like No Man's Sky level of brand ruining. Like, I think, where it's just like, do they make Battlefront 3 after this? Like, I can't even imagine.
I don't know.
Like, they probably will, because I bet it sold pretty well, but
have you got those figures yet?
No, NPD numbers will be coming out in the next week or so for November.
That would be very, very interesting.
Yeah. I just don't know what they do from here.
That's the only fun bit we have left, is to see what happens next.
Battlefront 2 is so bad that it makes you think that EA will never publish a good video game again, and that Star Wars will probably never be good in a video game form. Like, and that's crazy, because they have so much potential to be great. Their engine is good. They've got their look and sound effects down. Star Wars looks good and sounds cool regardless, and they should there should be a great Star Wars game, and man, this is not that at all.
It's been a rough month, man. What are you doing, big publishers? You don't know anything.
Yeah, it's...
Help us, indie games. Help us. You're our fucking only hope.
Remember Star Wars?
Remember Star Wars. Oh my god. Battlefront 2 is worse than Call of Duty World War 2. I'm saying that.
Yeah.
And fuck, I hate that campaign.
Like, the Call of Duty multiplayer is pretty solid.
Yes.
I occasionally have a little bit of fun. Like, I'll play a match of Battlefront and be like, that was fun. And then the next one will be like, this game is terrible.
Yeah, I think it's important to say that Battlefront 2 should be good. And somewhere under the 50 layers of bullshit, there is fun to have. I think I would be lying if I said I had no fun with Battlefront 2.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. I definitely had a decent time with probably a third of the matches I played. Where like, yeah, that was enjoyable.
I think my conclusion to Battlefront 2 is Battlefront 2. How do I put this? Battlefront 2 isn't terrible. It was ruined, if that makes sense. I think it was strictly destroyed by the hands involved. Because you pretty much solved the problems with the first game with a simple few checkboxes. And that's all they had to do. And they completely ruined what should have been good. I think maybe I was a bit wrong by saying it's not terrible, but I had a point I was trying to go for.
Yeah, I get what you mean. Yeah. They took something that was like solid enough and ruined it. And it wasn't just one thing that ruined it. It wasn't just EA. It wasn't loot boxes. It's everything.
Yes, it's not just
everything except for the way the maps look and the way the gun, everything about except for the voice acting sounds. It's like, the artists, you did good. The sound designers, you copied the Star Wars sounds and implemented them real well. The maps look killer.
See, we are positive people after all.
It's crazy coming from Call of Duty, which looks terrible on the PC, honestly, to Battlefront and being like, wow, this, like, the scale and, detail of the environments in Battlefront are amazing. But I'm going to uninstall Call of Duty and Battlefront as soon as this video is up.
Yeah, Call of Duty is already uninstalled, and Battlefront 2 will be not far behind it.
Yeah. I'll keep Battlefront 1 installed forever so I can load up Andor every once in a while and be like, wow, this game looks so good.
Yeah. Well, this has been a very depressing hour and a half, almost. Let's transition, for fuck's sake. This has been the darkest video we've ever done out of these reviews. It's been very down and very depressing. Video games suck. Save us, Horizon. Save us.
What was I guess, what did we talk about? Oh, right. I was trying to think, what was the Mass Effect, what was surrounded by Mass Effect Andromeda for that review? And that was Snake Pass at the end and Zelda at the beginning. So, yeah, that video was saved.
Yes. I think we both enjoyed Zelda and Snake Pass.
Yeah.
This has definitely been the most negative review we've ever done.
2 back-to-back downers, yeah.
Massive downers. Disasters. Well, one's worse than the other. Anyway, let's shine some light on this talk. Horizon, the Frozen Wilds.
Horizon is a good video game.
I actually have a lot of complaints about the DLC.
What? Really?
I have a lot of complaints.
Really?
Okay, let's first of all, let me just set the stage that Horizon Frozen Wilds is simply just more Horizon, and Horizon is fucking amazing. I just want to quickly, before anyone who's viewing is sick of the depression, Frozen Wilds is good. It is good. I don't think you can mess up the base format of Horizon. It's just great.
Yeah. And Horizon, it's not like Blood and Wine or something. It's a DLC that just sort of takes place mid-campaign. Yeah.
I only have a few complaints, but I just want to get them out so we can just have some fun and talk about some positives, because there's a lot of positives in the Frozen Wilds. I didn't really like the location in Frozen Wilds.
Really?
The location, as you can see from the footage, is snowy and icy, and I just found it a little bit visually repetitive.
Sure, yeah, I can understand that. Yeah, the base game has good variety, from like the sort of nice valleys to the desert to the jungle. Yeah.
I was actually quite fortunate with my save, where I had quite a few side quests and collectibles like vantages to still tick off. I actually had like a significant amount of side quests I missed from the base game, like 5 or 6. So after about 3 hours, I was just really sick of the snow, and I was starting to splice in base game content with the DLC, and that really elevated my experience. I started to really enjoy myself. I wasn't a huge fan of the new robots. I think we can just call them by name because that won't spoil their form or what they look like.
Yeah.
I didn't find the Scorchers fun to fight.
Yeah, I agree with that, actually.
I understand it's a new attack type to really, really get up in your face.
Oh, they're so aggressive. But
I just found, especially since I was going back to the vanilla game, I think across my time playing the DLC, I went back and I went against every single machine from the base game, except for ones that are tied to campaign missions.
Right.
And just comparing fighting the base game machines versus the Scorcher and the Frost Claw. What's the...
Frost Claw / Fire Claw, yeah.
Whatever the Frost Claw... Okay, beep out that bit where I said what it was.
Okay.
Cut that bit out for spoilers. Yeah, the Frost Claw and the Scorcher. The Frost Claw was better. I eventually learnt its pattern, but again, a very similar pattern was for it to really, really get up in your face, which I was just finding just a little bit frustrating. I find the learning process of fighting the machines in Horizon really satisfying, and I find feeling in control of a fight and knowing how to take them down a really fun part of it. And I knew the weaknesses of the Scorcher and the Frostclaw, but I couldn't fucking execute it when it was sat on my face and I couldn't see because the camera was inside it. And I just found it really frustrating where the Scorcher was faster than I could dodge. I was just spamming circle, like trying to get away from it, and it didn't make any difference. It was on top of me. I had to find like a rock or like a tree to get around. And I think it's fine to mix up the attack styles of the robots and to make you play differently, but I found it less entertaining personally than the vanilla robots that were introduced in the base game.
I think it part of that for me was due to the DLC being way harder than the base game.
Yeah,
but also having not played it for almost a year, it was like you fight a lot of Scorchers at the beginning of the DLC, and that was when I was the worst at the game, and that was definitely when I was least enjoying fighting them.
Yeah.
Once I remembered how to play Horizon, which took a while, I didn't really mind fighting the Scorchers all that much. I do agree they're a little too aggressive, like they're always pouncing on you, and it was a little frustrating. The explosive sling thing takes care of them pretty quickly, though.
Yeah.
And I liked the Frost Claws quite a bit. They were horrifying and really aggressive in a way that I enjoyed a great deal.
I learned to fight them near the end and started enjoying the fights a bit more. I still fucking hate the Scorchers. I think my main problem with the DLC is nearer the beginning of it.
Yeah.
Because you jump into the Frozen Wilds and they have upped the HP of the enemies substantially. Yeah. To the point where none of my weapons were doing anything except for my slingshot. So
really? Wow.
My slingshot was the only thing that was fucking killing anything. Because I think I was probably lower level than you were when you started it. So for a long time I couldn't really use my bows, and I was just kind of using my slingshot like Dennis the Menace, and it sucked. But eventually you collect a new currency called Blue Shards.
Blue Gleam, yeah.
I think I'm mixing Destiny currencies in there. Blue Gleam, and you get better weapons, and you also get three.
Two or three?
There's the ice, fire, and...
I think there is one... You get the upgraded lance.
You get an electric stick, an ice stick, and a fire stick.
Right.
One's like a flamethrower, one shoots out ice shards, and one's just electricity. And once you get those three weapons on top of your set, then you start to feel a lot more competent when it comes to fighting in the Frozen Wilds. And it was fun. Once I felt a bit more on top of it, I was having a really good time. But I will be honest, for the first 3 hours, I was actually not having a great time and finding it very frustrating. But
yeah, that's the problem with DLC, that takes place just in the middle of the game, and it's. I've started a New Game Plus playthrough, and I just sort of wandered into that DLC a second time just to open up the zone mainly, and I was like, oh yeah, this makes a lot more sense just from a placement perspective, because by the time you get there, like I'm like, okay, I remember how to play this game. It's just sort of part of her journey through the world. It fits a lot better instead of this where it's like, I haven't touched this game since early March.
Yeah, it was a bit jarring.
Oh my god, this is so difficult. How do I play again? It was definitely a few hours for me as well, where it's like, oh my god, this is difficult. But once I remembered how to play it, I was like, oh yes, Horizon.
Yes.
You
I
delight.
will say I'm done for the review with negativity. It's all out the window now. And
I liked the environment. I like snow. I am a Canadian. I've grown up with it. They do snow better than any game I've played.
Yeah, wow, the snow, the tech behind the snow is very impressive.
Yeah, the snow falling, it being on the ground, deforming underneath you. They capture the feeling of snow really well. There's sort of quietness of it when it's all fallen, the density of it when it's a blizzard, the brightness of it. They capture it all fantastically. So I was quite happy to be rolling around in the snow. And it reminds me a little bit of The Witcher 3, where it's like, hey, we improved a bunch of little things for this DLC, which we didn't need to, where it's like, we improved the motion capture substantially.
Yeah, wow.
And it's like, wow, these characters move really a lot now, and that's cool. And they sort of connected the side quests. They're like, the side quests, there's only a few of them, but they're really substantially longer.
Yes.
And they sort of weave into other parts of the map and world and story in some cool ways. Like I
think the footage I gave you will be of one of the side quests, and it was the best one in the game in my opinion, where you are trying to deflood that that area, and you meet that very eccentric guy who's trying to collect
He's funny.
A piece of glass that reminds him of his mum. There's some sentimentality behind his character, and then mild spoiler, but the reason you do it is just so that a girl can play on some pipes because she thinks it's a cool instrument. And it's a really kind of, I don't know, touching moment. There's no significant saving the world aspects to it. It's just a lot of personality in that side quest. I loved it. And I think it might have been the most memorable side quest out of the whole game, maybe. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, the side quests were never super excellent. They were always solid, but not.
Yeah, I did a bunch of them from the main game while doing this DLC.
And they're all fine. They add to the world, but
yes.
Yeah, this one is definitely, I would say, the best of the quests, and
yeah, it's got some good characters in this DLC.
I think quite a few of them. Yeah, the sort of main brother sister are pretty good. There's not a lot of main plot in it until the end. There's it's just sort of doing some things, and then you go on a long mission, which was way longer than I thought it was going to be, and that's where the horizon-y parts of it really come out, where it's you're discovering secrets of the old world, and that stuff was cool. I like the I like the thing you get to talk to at the end.
I think my only minor complaint about the campaign is I didn't really know what the fuck was happening for most of it, and all the revelations come from you asking questions to an AI at the end, and then it kind of all unfolds, and it maybe would have been nicer to have you discover stuff as you were going through the end dungeon, but only a minor complaint. I love the sci-fi writing in Horizon so much that I could have sat and talked to that AI for hours. I just love learning about the world, and Frozen Wilds gives you more of it. And it's just good, man. I almost forgot how good the sci-fi world building in Horizon was. One of the first things I did when I got back into Horizon, because I was I don't remember in detail what happened. I know the outlines. I went through all of my data files and the collectibles and audio logs I have found, and I listened to all of them. And fucking hell, I forgot how good this game it was and is. And I'm so happy that I went through that story again leading up to the end of the year, because we have our top 10 list coming up, And, spoiler, Horizon is going to be on the list somewhere. I mean, let's not kid ourselves.
I wonder where.
And it was just really nice to have a reminder of, wow, yeah, this is why I love this game so much. It's just some of the best sci-fi writing in video games. And Frozen Wilds gives you some more. And it's all damn good.
And that game I still think is a really, really fun to play experience. I started a new game plus playthrough of it, and it was just like, it's just good fun. It's sort of challenging and aggressive, the enemies are, and the weapons, I like the new weapons that they give you. They're pretty overpowered in the base game.
Yeah.
It's just a damn good game, and the DLC just adds more to it. And they said it was about 15 hours, and I spent pretty much exactly 15 hours 100%ing it. And
I reckon I probably played 10 hours of the base game again. I played a lot. And it was really nice intersplicing that with the Frozen Wilds. It was really fun going backwards and forwards.
That seems like a good way to do it.
Happy I saved some stuff.
Yeah, there's not a lot to talk about because it's we've reviewed Horizon, and this is more Horizon, and Horizon's good. Turns out it's still a good video game. I think
if you liked Horizon, there is no reason to not pick up Frozen Wilds, especially if you were into the story stuff. Like this, I assume, since Horizon and Frozen Wilds ends with unanswered questions, I assume there is going to be a Horizon 2 in the future, and it seems like a very fundamental part of the story. I think, maybe.
What?
Kind of.
Oh, like the importance of the AI and that stuff. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It's
pretty fundamental for people who are fans of the story and want to know what's going on as they jump into the second one, which will come out in the future sometime.
In 2022 or something.
I still think that the beginning's a little bit frustrating.
Yes, definitely.
But the rest of Horizon is so fun and just great to be in.
Yeah.
That it wasn't that hard for me to push through, like 3-4 hours of me being slightly frustrated.
Yeah. And a lot of that frustration for me just came from sucking at the game, just not remembering. Yeah, it's just good. It's just more Horizon. Some of it's even better than the base game, and that's pretty cool because the base game is one of the best video games.
Yes, it's a no-brainer for people who like the original, in my opinion.
Oh God, yeah. Just know that it does very much take place in the middle, and is definitely best played after you've recently played a bunch of Horizon.
It's hard. It's hard in places. Good stuff.
Yeah.
All right. It's been a ride. Nice. It's been a ride, Jameson.
Yeah. Battlefront tried to kill my internet.
Yes. We had some technical difficulties. EA's listening in.
Yeah,
there's been some
we gotta
intense
shut
lows.
this shit down.
Yes. We're never getting a game from Activision again, for sure, after this. But hey, don't make shit games.
Oh, also,
and we'll enjoy them.
I should have said, we paid for Battlefront 2. Each of us. And don't buy Battlefront 2. Please don't buy it. Unless it, maybe in 6 months when they've patched the shit out of it and it's cheap, and you really want your Star Wars experience, maybe. But honestly, I think you can probably get a better time out of buying the complete bundle, the ultimate edition of the first game, because it's regularly only $10 or something, and you get all these maps and modes, and honestly, probably a slightly better game.
Don't play Call of Duty campaign, don't touch Battlefront 2, and give Horizon Frozen Wilds a look. It's pretty good.
Yeah. It's a pretty good single-player experience, which I know no one likes or cares about anymore, according to Electronic Arts.
According to data research.
Yeah.
All right, but this should be the final long review talk of the year.
Definitely.
At least in this format. I don't think we're going to squeeze top 10 of 2017 into December.
We'll record it in December, but certainly will not release in December.
It will leak into January, and there's not really anything coming out in December to talk about.
No.
I'm just trying to think of anything
I don't even know if we'll
gonna
have
be
enough
picking
for a
up.
January video. It might be a while until there's another one.
There's Monster Hunter in January. I don't know if there's anything else.
I don't know either. Yeah, it's hard to say.
But anyway, this has been a long, slightly depressing talk. I was even apprehensive about it, just doing it. Not apprehensive, but I wasn't looking forward to it because I don't like being negative.
Yeah.
It's not fun to be negative. But we talk the truth,
It
Jameson.
needs to be, sometimes you need to shit on a game. Because the game shits on you.
Yeah, but it's out the way. Let's hope for brighter things in the future, especially since the next talkie video we do, we'll be talking about everything we love
The
from
best
this
of
year.
video is
So
nothing
that would
but
be
positivity, so that'll be a good counter.
Nothing but positivity coming up. But until then, guys, thank you very much for listening, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.